What's up, guys? Josh Law here at TheCardGuyz, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new card from Mastery Pack Warrior, Overwhelming Swing. Now, Overwhelming Swing is a pretty interesting card. I think this is going to be a pretty impactful card, and it's going to have a pretty high skill ceiling. Wait, you guys don't know what the card does? Oh man, I guess we got to roll the spoiler video. Let's go.
A couple introductions with the chat here. This is John O'Rourke.
Nice to meet you, John.
Mr. Ian Roberts.
Right. Nice to meet you.
Peter Tencio.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Jerome Smith.
Come on, brother. What's up, fam? You know this.
Keith Williamson.
Nice to meet you.
Mary Woodbury.
Nice to meet you.
Jay Martell.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Tasha Robbins.
Come on, come on, come on. Feel that?
Emily George.
Feel that? All right. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Daryl Stokes.
Come on. What's up, fam? How you doing? All right. Never forget about that, because that's all we got. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. All right. Oh, bring it in. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. All right. Nice to meet you. All right. Nice to meet you.
1/8 black.
Afternoon, my octoroon. Come on, bring it in there. Tuck that.
Yeah, I'm in there, dog. I'm in there, dog. I'm in there, dog.
You tucking
I'm
it in there?
dog.
But you tuck though. But you tuck though. You tuck it.
Tuck. I'm in there. Come in there. I'm in there.
All right. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Oh, she is so beautiful. I want another one. There you go. Precious. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's her name?
Oh, this is Livia Ruggi.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Miss Ruggi. All right. Yeah, come on. There he is. Boom! All right, very good to meet you. All right.
Here we go. Right this way, sir.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that spoiler video. Let's get back to the real impact of video. So as you guys just saw, Overwhelming Swing is a zero-cost yellow pitch warrior attack reaction that blocks for 3, and it says, this card costs an additional resource for each card defending on the active chain link. So this includes equipment, this includes cards from hand, obviously, this includes D-reacts, whatever, cards that are defending on the active chain link. Target weapon gets plus X power, where X is twice the number of cards defending it, plus 1. Now, of note, when this card resolves, that will be the power bump that it gets. So if your opponent adds a D-react, it won't retroactively increase. After all, this is a warrior card and not an assassin card. All right, let's talk a little bit about where I see this card being useful for the Warriors. So the TLDW is that this is going to be a very high impact card with a high skill ceiling. In particular, I think this will see the most use in Dorinthia, Kasai, and Olympia, because this card helps them do the thing that they want to do. Dorinthia wants to accumulate counters. This is a good way to punch through. Kasai wants to accumulate gold and copper to power things like Blood on Her Hands, Raise an Army, and her hero ability. And this ensures that she can actually hit. Most Kasai lists these days are coming down quite hard on the attack reaction suite that they're playing, sometimes as low as 3. This will help boost that up closer to, 6, 7, 8-ish, depending if they're running things like In the Swing, Iron Song Response, and such. This is also quite good in Olympia, potentially. Now, we don't know exactly how Olympia is going to look after Mastery Pack Warrior is released and after the Armory deck is released, but based on his weapon and everything that we know about him currently, obviously winning wagers is going to be very important, because if he can win a wager, he gets the gold to swing his weapon for free. So the best way to win wagers is to, well, what's the quote? It's like the best victory is one that you don't really have to fight for. But if you do have to fight for it, this is one of the cards that really can help you get over the line in terms of making the attack hit. As for the other three warriors, we're gonna talk about each of the warriors in depth, but I don't quite see them being quite. I don't see this card being quite as useful for the other three warriors. One thing about this card, though, is that this card is going to demand that you understand your deck, your threat level, and your opponent's deck very well, and understand the matchup dynamics early, mid, and late game in order to use this card correctly. Because if your opponent uses too many cards to block, you might not even be able to play the card out, and you might even have to IP a card, which is really bad. If they don't block at all, this is actually underrate compared to a lot of other warrior attack reactions that we have access to. Uh, being flexible, though, is quite nice in terms of like this could be a small pump, it could be a big pump. However, I think this card is less flexible than it looks on paper, mainly because your opponent has some agency in whether or not you can even play this out, and you really need to understand when and how to use it. Sometimes you're just going to be blocking with it. It might sit in the arsenal. It might be going to second cycle. This is not a card that you're going to resolve 3 of in every single game. It's going to depend really on the situation. This is still above an above rate attack reaction for warrior though, so we're definitely going to take it. All right, let's talk a little bit about some numbers because this is quite important. Warrior is often referred to as like a standard baseline number deck, and like it was printed in WTR, so a lot of the game's fundamentals come from this class. So let's take a look at some numbers here. So we got, I made a little chart here for you guys. Basically, as a zero cost, like let's look at the zero cost example to start. At its baseline, it is worse than a nip at the heels, which is a blue and gives +1. If they don't defend with any cards, this is a yellow that gives +1. Not that great. And obviously, if we're talking about the other red attack reactions, Iron Song Response is 3 value at red. So if we convert that into a yellow, that gets 2 value at yellow. So it's basically at 0 and 1 cost for this attack reaction. It's a little bit below rate because, as you can see, Nip at the Heels, Iron Song Response, Blade Flurry, all of these cards are just strictly better when we're talking about 1 or 0 cards defending. However, once we get to the 2, 3, or potentially more cards blocking, this card starts to outshine. Sorry, Swordmaster Shine. It starts to outshine and outperform the current attack reaction suite that we have. For example, we look at cards like Biting Blade. Biting Blade gives +3, possibly +4. If you can attack twice, +5. Decent, but that is a very old school card. That card will always have a place in my heart, though. Route. Yes, it gives +6, but it returns the card to them, so that's basically like +3. So somewhere between 3 and 6 value, you can think of it that way. Display of Craftsmanship is a +4. If you've sharpened, and it can get +5, which is nice. Fatal Engagement is also +5, but it demands your opponent block with an attack action card. So as you can see, once we get to 2 cards defending, a 2 for 5 attack reaction that has no other text basically is better than what we have currently. When we talk about 3 cost attack reactions, now we're starting to really get into some of the territory where you're gonna hit and it's gonna hurt. Overpower gives +6 at maximum, and it requires reprise. This also requires reprise, but it's a little bit different. Swordmaster Shine, 3 cost for 5, but it can come down based on the amount of Dawnblade counters you have, which is quite nice. Or not Dawnblade counters, just +1 counters that you have. Of note, there are no 4 or 5 cost attack reactions available for Dorinthia in the current format, or for any of the warriors for that matter. I guess, nope. Yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, Beacon of Victory can be 9 damage, but that's a whole nother thing. So Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that, we have access to such a large attack reaction. Now, how do we actually use this card? Let's talk about each of the warriors. So let's start off with Dorinthia. Now, this is the class and this is the hero that I believe benefits the most from this card. This makes removing +1 counters from a snowballing Dawnblade an absolute nightmare, because in the past it used to be like, okay, they could Swordmaster Shine, give it +5, that's kind of bad, but sometimes you could really overblock if you wanted to. Twinning Blade is also another big blowout, and now you have the ability to, let's say your opponent throws their whole hand down. You can give this +9 for 4 resources. If you have tempo, you're going to have 4 resources. So this, alongside Swordmaster's Shine, means once the Dawnblade starts going, it's going to be really tough to stop. This is also making me kind of think about, like, okay, maybe Dorinthia is supposed to set up a little bit, maybe with like an E-Pot, maybe one of those diamond amulet, stuff like that. Just set up a little bit, wear them down a little bit, and then start the offense, and just never let up. I think that's a decent way to go about it. Plus, you'll also get a good sense of their deck. How many D reacts are they on? How they like to block? How they like to attack? So I think that this kind of just synergizes well with the entire kit. This card is obviously very, very deadly with Singing Steelblade. Once Singing Steelblade resolves, you search your deck, you banish Overwhelming Swing. There is no response window for your opponent to play a D react to screw you on the cost. So you're going to be able to resolve that from the banish zone, put that on the stack before they can resolve it, resolve a D react. And generally, if they are blocking with several cards, it might be kind of expensive to go Singing Steelblade into uh, this attack reaction, but hey, you can grab a Twinning Blade, you can grab a Blade Flare, Iron Storm Response. The beauty of Singing Steelblade is that you can grab the exact tool that you need for the situation. Um, like I said before, that this is a card that is really, this card is like emboldened blade levels of understanding that is going to be required. Um, if you are not experienced in a matchup with this card, you will not be able to use this card to its fullest. Um, and that's okay. We'll all get better over time, and our opponents will have to adapt to this card as well. I do think that, in particular, Dorinthia has very strong synergies with E-Plots and Vigor tokens. Grains of Bloodspill is a card that I quite enjoy. Now, I've been on Courage Bladehold Unga Bunga for a while now, but obviously, Grains of Bloodspill is a very, very good card for Dorinthia. Um, being I've always enjoyed E-Pots as well, Ruby Amulets as well. Being able to hold extra information back is very, very powerful in Dorinthia. And now, if you have the flexibility with the E-Pots on the board, you can play this attack reaction pretty easily for the 3, 4, 5 costs that it sometimes demands. All right, let's talk about another warrior. I believe we're going to talk about Kasai next. Yep, we're going to talk about Kasai next. Now, Kasai, like I mentioned earlier, has generally come down on attack reactions, and this is a card that will help them hit. Spoils of War and the Kasai activations sometimes do not hit, especially against more defensive decks, and this allows them to do their thing, which is important. There is a fork with, Glint and Blood Follows Blade, and this creates an even more annoying fork now, because if they don't block and you're holding a lot of cards back, and you think a D-React's going to save you from Blood Falls Blade, it might not anymore, because being able to have more attack reaction density in the deck means Blood Falls Blade is more likely to hit. And if they're scared of Blood Falls Blade, that means they're going to be blocking more, which means Glint is going to be turned on. So this just adds a lot of power to the existing cards that Kasai already has access to. Oftentimes when Kasai has a large hand, it becomes she could convert it generally pretty well. This card does help that conversion factor as well, and it helps her to hit. Pretty good card, I think, in Kasai. Also, being a yellow block 3 attack react sounds exactly like what she needs. So pretty good card. All right, Olympia. He currently has access to several attack reactions. He has one in particular called "Take the Up, Take the Upper Hand." I believe is the name of it. And that one allows you to wager. If you wagered, it gets +3. Uh, this is another attack reaction, which I think is going to be quite useful. And Olympia, very similarly to Dorinthia, is very likely to have vigor tokens around. You are often playing cards like um, Hold'em, which wagers vigor, and you're probably running Grains of Blood Spill. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have the extra resources. Maybe you're a Tunic deck. I don't know. We're going to have to see once the Armory deck comes out and Master Pack Warrior comes out. But I have a feeling that this card is going to be particularly strong for him because it just allows you to win your wagers. It allows you to do your thing. If the deck becomes very red and yellow based, that could impact a little bit how well he can play out these cards. However, I don't see him like running less than like 9 blues. So he should be good to pay for this. All right. Let's move on to the other 3 warriors. So in Boltyn, I don't think this is a particularly good card for Boltyn. First of all, if you're playing the Raiden version, you need a light card density. And if you don't have that light card density, uh, it, yeah, a lot of the deck will fall apart if you don't have that light card density. Also, current builds of Boltyn do not like to pitch. Basically, Tunic is reserved for via the Vanguard, and if you're running a Soul Bond Resolve, you are basically not pitching either. So, yeah, I don't think it's that great. In that, in the combo Boltyn, you could technically have one to maybe play at the end of the game. I'm not exactly sure. Probably the list is probably too tight to include it. And Boltyn basically just has better attack reactions that he could be running. So, like, if you want an attack reaction, just run Warcry Bolana. That's a very, very good card. And it costs 0. And it's yellow and it's a light card. It's pretty good. All right, Fang. The cost of non-draconic cards is quite high in the deck. And you need a certain density of draconic instants and reactions in order to make your game plan work. Such that like even cards as powerful as Blade Flurry aren't run as a 3 of. So if Blade Flurry is not run as a 3 of, I don't see this card being run as a in the main deck. However, I do think there's like one particular uh, synergy that you could have if you pitch a Hun Sen with a blue and overwhelming swing together at the end of the game. That is a lot of damage at reaction speed, and it creates that fork of if they don't block, Hun Sen will kill them. If they do block, then you can play the overwhelming swing for a big buff and then play the Hun Sen on the next one. So very likely to leak damage. I don't know if dual wield warriors in general need a lot of help against fatigue. I think most of them are decent against, or very resilient at the very least against fatigue. But this is a possibility, and I wouldn't hate it to run as a one of. As for Hala, currently the way the deck is built, there's very, very few on hits, and most opponents are not going to be blocking unless they have an extra card or two that they don't need. And as we talked about before in the numbers section, a 0 or 1 costed overwhelming swing is actually underwhelming. You want to be resolving this for 2, 3, or 4 generally. So this card doesn't have particular synergy with Hala's kit. She likes to sharpen. She likes go again. She likes additional attacks. So this doesn't really do anything for her. Master Pack Warrior may change that a little bit, but we'll see. As it stands right now, I would not play this in Hala. All right, let's kind of wrap things up. So TLDR, key takeaways, let's wrap this up. This is a main deck power card for some of the warriors, and basically comes down to letting them do their thing and being able to play it out and push important on hits. This card is going to require a lot of experience to use correctly. You are going to need to understand how your opponent is going to block. This is like if Reprise is the 100 level college course, this is the 200 level college course right here. You need to understand whether your opponent is going to block and how much they're going to block for, and make sure that you have the resources to pay for it. As we mentioned earlier, generally you're not going to want to play this for 0-1 cost. I mean, it can work. However, if you're doing that, there are better cards that exist. You want to make sure that your deck build can support paying for 2, 3, or 4, or have an outlet for it. For example, let's say your opponent doesn't give you that juicy 2 or 3 card block. Great. Burn it into grains, burn it into Braveforge bracers, burn it into grains again. So basically holding that extra blue is not that detrimental because you can convert it. If they block, you push through. If they don't block, you use your equipment to set up for the next turn. It's a nice fork. And then all the warriors have access to this now, which is pretty cool. Ultimately, this card makes blocking warrior much, much harder, and it makes blocking warrior correctly much, much harder. So I do think that this card is going to be an important glue piece for a lot of decks going forward, and I do think that if you are a fan of warrior, definitely pick up a playset. All right, this has been Josh Lau with TheCardGuyz. Thank you so much for watching. More Impact of videos regarding Mastery Pack Warrior coming soon. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey man, did you get the KO deck for Worlds? No one's doing that, okay? Like,
Courage of playing a little horse now. Don't kill him. Get greedy. You're doing it too. All right. What's up, guys? Josh Lau here. Put him in the middle for now. That's perfect. All right, next year.
RTN champion.
We're gonna have to work a couple more.
Thanks for watching the video.
Here's some more Card Guys videos you might enjoy.